And I needed Eris to get his grubby hands off of her. Look, I know she's like flabbergasted or whatnot, but why was his arms around her? Yeah, I caught that. Yeah, I caught it. Eris, why are your grubby hands around Jasmine? Vida Rosa. I'm your host Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Married at First Sight. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, y'all, so forgive me for not covering last week's episode. The AC has been out in my place and I just couldn't be bothered with doing anything. It was too hot. It was too hot and I couldn't sit in front of no lights and do it. It wasn't possible last week. But this week we're going to cover episodes 22 and 23. It's not like I missed much. I mean, come on. Y'all know how this season has been going. So episode 22, we see Dom and Clint hang out. There's not an ounce of chemistry between the two, okay? Let's just be, I'm gonna make that clear very early, okay? Dominique is not looking at that man like that. Clint is not looking at that woman like that. I really do believe that they do not care about Mac and Gina doing whatever they're doing, because honestly, I don't even think Mac and Gina really care. He said that Gina is used to having the spotlight and Mac is more reserved, so maybe they would make a better match. And, you know, they both decide they'll get together and give them a gift card to go on a date, child. That's how much they do not care. Then she brought up the fact that she wanted to holler at Gil, and he encouraged her to message him, and it was very childish. She was scared to send a DM. Here, you send it. I'm gonna need for Dominique to grow up. I'm not gonna act like I wasn't a little bit childish and immature at that age. I was, okay? I probably would have done the same thing if I were her at that age. So let me stop, okay? But she definitely was not ready to get married at first sight. So I don't understand why they chose her. Now we're moving on to Jasmine and Kirsten. They seem like they've gotten really close since this whole process. Kirsten is helping Jasmine go apartment hunting. I don't know why Kirsten isn't the one showing this to her. Maybe she only shows houses. Isn't she a realtor? Like, do some realtors only show houses and others show apartments, or do they show everything? I don't know how that works. Jasmine says she misses the routine of being married, but she does not miss Eris the aunt, and I do not blame her. Jasmine let everyone know that she is talking to someone else. She's dating a guy that she knew from college, and he works with kids. And Kirsten is just like, I'm not even in the place where I want to date just yet. A lot of people think that Kirsten is just hurt in kind of like a shallow way because she got rejected by Shaq. But a part of me feels like she really did care about Shaq. Like, why? I think she fell for him. I think she, like, really did want to stick around and try to make it work. And so I do think she is hurt. But I also think she's the type of person that's not going to let anybody see her sweat. So she ain't going to show that on camera. But I do think she feels some type of way that this man kind of, he pulled the wool over her eyes at the last minute. So yes, later on in the episode, we see Jasmine go on a date and she's calling him friend boy. She's not introducing him to the world, so his face was hidden the entire time. I felt like we were watching one of those like 60-minute shows where they had to hide the identity of the person that's basically spilling the beans. They could have kept it because it was weird. It was so weird to watch, to only see like the back of his head, and she kissed him and we didn't even get to really see the kiss because they're trying to hide him. Like, girl, if you're not willing to show who it is, I just say you're dating. We don't have to see you date. Just say it. Like, this whole special they could have kept, but there are certain portions of the special where it's like, what are we doing here? Y'all really are playing in our face. She says she's not dating anyone else. They've been holding hands and kissing, and she asked if he's attracted to her, and she starts because he's like, how dare you ask me that? Of course I am attracted to you. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't. But I am happy that Jasmine does seem to not even care about Eris in one way, shape, or form. Like, she seems like she truly has pushed him to the side and is not, she doesn't have a care in the world about Eris, and I love that about this situation. So then we have Chris and Nicole. They're working out together. You could tell she works out and that he doesn't. I mean, you could just tell by her physique. She almost looks like a gymnast. Like, she looks very fit. And she claims that they're both very competitive. When they were working out together, she was like competing against him, and it's like, girl, obviously you're gonna win because he doesn't work out. And even if he did have a chance to win, he's not going to win because you're going to throw a hissy fit about it. And later on, they are going furniture shopping. Basically, she wants him to babysit her anytime she decides she wants to go to the store. She tells him, like, if I say I want to go to the store, just volunteer to go with me because I'm a shopaholic and I don't know how to control myself when spending money. That's why he wants to have separate bank accounts right there. Right there. He shouldn't have to babysit you, okay? You're a grown woman, and she's talking about how she wants to spend $8,000 on a couch. Like, she wants to buy this random gold chair that doesn't go with anything in their apartment. You know they ain't got nothing to match that. Unless you're gonna have some sort of woman cave, I don't see the point of buying something like that. And I don't know, Chris seems to be over the fact that she is such a frivolous spender, and I would feel some type of way about that too. You married now and y'all ain't rich, so the frivolous, oh, I'm just gonna waste $1,000 for no reason. I feel like y'all should have conversations about big purchases and things like that now. Then we find out that Shaq's grandmother recently passed, and it's really, I think it's very special that he did get her on film. She came to the wedding, and that's a nice little moment that they shared on camera that he will have forever. So I guess he can say that this situation wasn't completely in vain. And Kirsten did reach out to him when she heard about his loss. They had not talked since since that dinner they had, and so she did reach out to him. Later on, we see Eris and Mac awkwardly hang out. Like, you could tell these two do not interact on any other basis other than being on this show. He said he just rented out a home, but now he got a job offer in Michigan, and he has not told Gina that he will be moving there soon and they will be long distance. Mac just wants us to know that he actually does have a job and he's making money. We get it, Mac. We're happy for you, and I'm so glad, because you should have already had your stuff together before this show. But it sounds like you hurried up and stayed in somebody's basement so that you could be on this show because you thirsty for clout or whatever. And then you're trying to extend your little 15 seconds of fame by dating Gina, because I'm not seeing it between you two. I'm gonna go ahead and go to their date. When we see Gina, she's just continuously going on this promo tour for her salon. She's traveling here and there with her salon. Then she met up with Mac for the date. I don't see the chemistry, but they do seem more compatible than they were with their partners, but that doesn't mean they are good for each other. She never misses an opportunity to down Clint in some way, saying that he wasn't stylish. Like, you stylish. Like, come on now. Like, if you're gonna talk about somebody's style, you better look good. You better dress nice. You better be fab. I don't get that from Gina. It's so passive aggressive to me. Like, Mac is like clear. He makes it known that he does not care for Dom. And, you know, I'd much rather him say that and be forthright about it than Gina, who pretends, oh yeah, we're cool, and you say all this nasty stuff but with a smile on your face. Like, what I thought was the most interesting is that they both noticed each other at the airport and both were each other's type and they weren't attracted to their own partners. I feel like that could have played a big role in their marriages not working, because y'all had y'all eye on somebody else that y'all thought was more attractive. And I remember Mac even saying how he thought Gina was hot. At some point when all the men were talking in the honeymoon, he said that to Clint's face. So I definitely believe him. He ended up telling her that he's moving, and she said that's not going to scare her off. Yeah, this ain't nothing. They don't care. They do not care. Gina wants more airtime to promote that business, and Mac just want to be on TV. So then we see Clint go on a date with a redhead. They played frisbee golf. Supposedly his friend set him up with this woman, but then I forgot where I saw this, but she was on the matchmaking special. So who is your friend, Dr. Pepper? Pastor Cal? Like, I'm so tired. Y'all just be, y'all be trying to give us anything. Y'all think we stupid, okay? There's some people that actually pay attention to this show and will bust you out with receipts every single time. But anyway, she is fit, like she's his type. And she said all this deep stuff about wanting a man with integrity and someone who listens to her. But then she said her turnoffs were redhead. Mind you, this woman is a redhead. And he was like, well, what? Why don't you like redheads? You're a redhead. And she was like, because people might think we're related. These are the shallow pool of people that y'all are choosing from to get married at first sight. Because had y'all chose her, the same thing, probably worse. Honestly, he handled that well. Clint has a great attitude for the hand he's been dealt on this show, okay? But I will say, I know his DMs are full. I know it. I know Clint has the pick of whoever he wants when this show is over. Trust me. They swimming in his DMs because every time I look in the comments, the women are so thirsty over Clint. So I'm not mad. So then we see the group of women get together. We see the group of men get together. The men were together minus Shaq. The women were together minus Gina. Eris did have Jasmine's dog, but Jasmine made it very clear that this is only going to be a one-time thing, okay? She's likely only doing this for the show, and yeah, he will not be coming to pick up this dog again anytime soon. Eris and Clint made it known that they have already smashed. Like, we needed to know that. Dominique told the women that she has a FaceTime date with Gil, and Jasmine is like, what? Gil was fine. I wish we got more of Jasmine's personality. I feel like that's the only good thing about this special, is that we do get to see more of how Jasmine is when she's not constantly having her self-esteem ripped apart. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was nice to see her. You could tell that's how she really is. Nicole was confused because she didn't like Mac because he didn't have roots in Nashville, and Dominique wants to be rooted in Nashville, but then you want to date someone that lives in Texas. And you know what, Nicole, you actually have a good point. She only wants to date him because he's hot, because he's fine, because he look good. I mean, we seen Gil. We know why she's talking to him. That is straight up lust. She do not want to be married to that man. She just wants him, okay, in the flesh. But at the end of the day, Dom was still right about Mac not wanting to be rooted in Nashville. So she still feels vindicated for how she felt. And Kirsten is still mad that Shaq started crying. Like, she gonna bring that up every single chance she gets. Like, why are you crying? And I'm not mad at her, because I think we all are sitting here wondering, Shaq, why are you crying? You're the one who ended it. So then we move on to the next episode. Kirsten and Jasmine are planning to collaborate and start a business together. They want to start a party bus business, and they're talking about how lucrative it is, how you can charge $650 to $750 for a night. And you know, if they get several buses and they have several parties, they can earn up to $250,000 a year, and that would be like side hustle money. I'm like, maybe I need to think about that. They're both entrepreneurs. You could say they both have their own business. Jasmine has dog breeding business and pageant business, and so does Kirsten with real estate. And I love to see it. Black women, you know, working together, making money. I love to see it. We see Chris and Nicole having a great relationship with her dad. They're going to spend the holidays with him, and also they're moving into their new place. Yada yada. It's great to see them together, but it's just quite awkward that they're the only couple that is still together. So it's crazy. We're watching a show called Married at First Sight, and they're the only married couple, and they seem out of place. Sad. Then we see Dom go out with her mother, and she tells her that it's weird that Mac and Gina are dating. You know, it's like dating your coworker. It is kind of weird. It is kind of weird. I think the whole wife swapping thing is very odd. But the way Dom was talking about it just sounded like a teenager. The mom wishes her and Matt could have still been friends, and Dominique was like, I did not come on this show for friends, and she didn't like his behavior after asking for the divorce. So I mean, I'm not mad at Dominique for not wanting to be friends with Mac. They can still be in the same area with each other and still be civil. So I don't see a problem with them not being friends. I probably wouldn't want to be friends with him either. The mom blames herself for her being in this situation in the first place, but Dom took responsibility and said she made her own decision to get married at first sight. So don't put that on your mama. Mama, you just wanted the best for your child. I just don't know any parents that would sign their child up for this show, but I do think the mom meant well. Since we're on Dom already, let's talk about her date with Gil, if you want to call it that, because when he first popped up on FaceTime, he looked like he was not really interested on being on this phone call. Like, he looked like he was not interested in being on this phone call at all. Especially when he heard that she gave up on her marriage after 11 days. He was not impressed at all. And she really did not expect to get a lecture from him about it, but he definitely gave her one. And he basically saw straight through her shallow ways. And, you know, he told her, yeah, I've had trust issues for a while, which I could totally understand, because if you watched his season, Mirla kind of did play him, like made it seem like she was interested in him, and then right after decision day she dumped him. So I can kind of understand where those trust issues come from. Dom seemed like she was really into the date. He seemed like he really wasn't. He acted like he barely had time to do another FaceTime date. He's so busy with a tight schedule that you can't FaceTime somebody. Yeah, clearly he just wasn't interested. We see Eris go on a date, and it's like, do we really have to watch him on a date? What I don't understand is why no one told this lady that her skirt was unzipped. I had to rewind it because I'm like, is that just how the skirt is made, or is her skirt unzipped? And it just was unzipped. And I feel like at some point it zipped up, so maybe they did tell her, but I'm just like, oh my god, y'all could have told her before y'all started filming. Turns out that she was originally a part of the process, but she had not been chosen. And she reached out to him after seeing him on the show. It's like, you saw his behavior on the show and you wanted to get to know him, or do you just want to be on TV? Because I feel like that's where a lot of these dates come from. I will say he was giving her a lot more eye contact than he was giving Jasmine, so maybe he was a little bit more attracted to her. He seemed like he was a little bit more talkative. She said her only deal breaker was her partner being a Christian. And it doesn't sound like Eris is a Christian. He was like, whatever you believe in type of thing. And it's like, so shouldn't the date be over? Like, let's move on. So then we see Shaq meet up with Jasmine and Eris. And you know what's crazy is they seem 1,000% more comfortable with each other now that they're not married or getting a divorce. Like, why do they seem so comfortable now? Maybe because there's no pressure. Shaq talked about how Kirsten did reach out to him after his grandmother died. And, you know, he was grateful to her reaching out, and he eventually wants to be friends. But, you know, obviously Kirsten is not on that same page. And later on in the episode, we see Kirsten meet up with her cousin. They didn't even know that they were getting a divorce. She revealed that to them. They were, you know, shocked. But the cousin was like, well, why does he want to meet up with you after he told you he didn't want to be married to you? And cousin, none of us understand that. None of us get that, because it makes no sense whatsoever. Because the cousin was like, I wouldn't even be going. And neither would I. From what Kirsten told them, they kind of felt the same way I do, that Shaq is looking for the perfect woman, and Kirsten is not perfect. Shaq is not perfect. You'll never find it. You'll never find it. You'll never find the perfect person. So then we actually see Kirsten and Shaq meet up. You know, he made it seem like on decision day, she was the only reason why he wanted to get a divorce. And she was like, nothing on your end. And he was like, he wanted to be married to her, but he just felt like it wasn't good enough. It would never be good enough for her. And she was like, well, why the tears? And he said he had to make the decision for himself, and he felt vulnerable. And then he asked the question, where do we go from here? And she was like, our separate ways. Like, Shaq, how dare you? He felt some type of way after this conversation because Kirsten wasn't nurturing. Like, that is your ex-wife. She don't owe you absolutely nothing. I felt like you was asking for too much when y'all were married, okay? At this point, Kirsten is like, what more do you want from me? You are divorcing me. Shaq had some nerve. Like, I just really could not believe him saying, yep, no nurturing, no type of compassion. She reached out to you. She did a lot more than a lot of other people would have done in the same situation. She reached out to you and sent her condolences for the loss of your grandmother. A lot of people would have just, that's his problem. You know what I'm saying? So if anything, I feel like she was being more nurturing than she should have been to you. And you have the nerve to throw it in her face and say that she's not. I don't understand this man at all. I never will. He's looking for a mother. He wants somebody to baby him. And once again, she don't owe you Nathaniel. Okay? And I wish she would have read you down. You deserve it. I hope she reads you at this reunion. I hope you get roasted at this reunion. Because at first I was like, okay, Shaq was getting on my nerves. But I was like, okay, maybe he's just emotional. I don't know. But I hope you get the fire lit up under you at this reunion. You deserve it. Because you're doing too much. You the one that wanted to end this relationship. And she was trying. She was trying. Shoot, he done made me mad. So finally, oh God. So finally we get to the axe throwing, okay? Mac wasn't there, so Gina tried to FaceTime him. He did not answer. He did not answer. Okay, she was like, maybe he's on the other date. She don't care because she don't really want him. It was funny because they started talking about, hey, big head text. And I feel like that's like something in like millennial black community that we used to do back in the day. When we were trying to reach out to somebody from the past, you say, hey, big head. And it was funny when Clint was trying to explain what a hey, big head text was. And he was like, hello, the circumference of your head is quite large. That was funny because Clint is from a totally different generation. So actually, no, Eris and Clint are the same age. I feel like it's a cultural thing. Then we have Nicole completely instigating the flirtation between Clint and Dom. They're like, if we make the target, then we'll kiss. Both of them are hams. Both of them like attention. I feel like that's why both of them were down to do this. I really do feel like a producer told Nicole to instigate this. Jasmine could barely contain herself, and I needed Eris to get his grubby hands off of her. Look, I know she's like flabbergasted or whatnot, but why was his arms around her? Yeah, I caught that. Yeah, I caught it. Eris, why are your grubby hands around Jasmine? Now I'm gonna need you to move. None of that was worth ruining the season over, though. When they show the previews of Dom and Clint, we thought it was way more salacious than it actually was. Like, this is way after Decision Day. Both of their relationships broke up before this. So they did not have to ruin Decision Day by showing us this preview. That was so unnecessary. They could have left this as a surprise. If anything, I feel like this deterred us from wanting to watch more. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't entice us to want to see how this happened. And it was funny when he said, I've kissed worse. It's like, Clint, you really don't know what to say sometimes. But he's very lovable. Yeah, this season is trash. It's whack. I'm more interested in the preview for next week. We're seeing Mindy and Steve. They're now dating. Lindsay is a train wreck, as she's always been. We're gonna get to see like some interesting updates, and I'm actually excited to watch that. That seems like something I would want to be watching. Do y'all want a review on that? Y'all let me know if y'all want a review on it. Anyways, you guys, let me know what you think about this review down below. I would love to hear your opinion, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.